Welcome to The Life of Hair. My name's James Atkinson, and in this week's episode we're going to look at colouring short hair. Now this is a haircut that I did a little while ago. It was the Sassoon bowl cut shape, and I'm going to show you exactly how to put in a really striking, strong piece of colour that has got a beautiful soft blend to it as well. Exactly how to place the colour and where and how. You can also use this technique on fringes, so it's a really great way to colour a fringe as well, because you can layer the fringe and that will create a beautifully soft transition from their natural brown or whatever their colour is into something more striking. In this case we've used a beautiful magenta shade that you'll see at the end, and it's one of those things that once you know how, you'll use it way more than you think. And it is something that I used to use a lot when we used to do lots of what are called block colouring, which is a pretty long time ago now, but I think block colouring is going to make a comeback at some point, so it's great to know how to do these things once they return. And it's, in this particular instance, super simple but really high impact. So enjoy the episode, and I'll see you again for another episode next week. And don't forget, if you want to see that episode, subscribe, smash that thumbs up button and tick that notification bell. I'm loving talking to you guys in the comments. I've had so many wonderful comments recently, so I would love those to keep coming forward. And anything else that you want to ask me in those comments, then be my guest. I love to hear from you guys. See you soon. In this particular episode, we're looking at putting in a beautifully strong shine line into the front of my haircut here. Now I'm going to turn this haircut from what is a nice classic piece of creative work. This is the creative adaptation of the Sassoon or the Purdy Bowl Cut that I did a little while ago, and I'm going to take this haircut to another level with some creative colour work. Block colouring is something that was very popular some years ago, not so popular right now, but it is always going to come back into fashion, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Now the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you are placing the colour exactly where you want it. So you will have just seen that I was just measuring my sections and making sure that I knew exactly where the hair colour was going to finish. It is so important that you do this process before you start, so you can be sure that you are going to leave the bits of colour that you want to see darkened or lightened, and you will know exactly how the outcome of this particular colour is going to be. Now once I've decided on the placement of my section, I will then section it off in a crescent section in this particular instance, and the crescent is going to be curved at the front that will mirror the front hairline, and then there will be a square back on it. In this particular colour, I'm also making sure that there's a veil of colour coming from the crown sitting over the colour, and then it will veil the fringe area with a nice strong magenta colour when we get round to putting our final toner on. So there's the crescent shaped section. Now it's really simple to colour this hair. All you do is take fine slices and work your way through the crescent shaped section back to back, no spaces in between your foils, to get maximum impact with your final colour. Once I've placed my foils, and then simply tint the rest of the hair. It's entirely up to you, clearly, what tint you use. In my case here, I'm going to use a very deep violet colour so that I have really strong contrast to the magenta shade that I'm going to place in the front. One thing that I am really into is good saturation. So I'm going to use diagonal sections and I'm going to work from the crown down to the nape. I'm going to apply my product, comb it through and make sure that I have got all that hair well saturated with colour so that I get an even end result. It is so important when you are tinting hair or toning hair that your saturation is even. Through this right hand side I am going to tint it with horizontal sections. This is one way of doing it, and I then take the sections away from the face to keep everything clean. On the opposite side I'm going to show you a different way. I'm going to take vertical sections and then I'm going to brush them straight back away from the head. I personally prefer this vertical sections and brushing everything back. If I'm going to be colouring short hair like this, this would be the way that I would prefer to do it, but I know some of you prefer to work horizontally, and I think it's just good to have both in your bag. Around the front I use a foil to protect my client's face so that I don't paint tint onto her head. And then, as you'll see hidden in my trolley there, I've always got a few crumpled up foils for this job. Once I've saturated my sections underneath this fringe area, I'll remove the foils and I will brush the hair to the side to make sure that I can clean the front hairline, the client's forehead, and make sure there's no colour processing underneath those foils that will stain the client's head. So let it process, remove the colour, and then finally put your desired shade over the blonde panel that you'd have created in the fringe. And I just love this result. It looks so striking. It takes this haircut to an absolute another level. I think it's an absolute winner in my book, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time for another episode of The Life of Hair.